This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Agun Erev Shabbos. Joe, you missed the Hakdam of the last year, but we dedicated this year for your success in your upcoming move.
Yeah, thanks. I was packing cartons. We don't have too much time left to pack.
Okay, so this next segment, we're going to have some Imponderables. I got very good feedback on the Imponderables. Last week we did 7. This week I have 26 Imponderables for you, but I'm not telling you all of them. I'll just tell you 7 of them, and you'll look at the rest on your own time.
Good K, love K.
Number 1. This is interesting to me. A major subject of this week's Parsha is the doorway. Avram Avinu, he's sitting at the entrance of the tent. Pesach ha'oya. And then the pasuk, he runs to them from the entrance of the tent. Of course from the entrance of the tent. That's where he was. Where else is he running from? And Sarah was listening from the entrance of the tent. And then the pasuk says, V'hu acharav, and Rashi's bothered. What was behind Sarah? The entrance was behind Sarah. Like, what's this obsession with the entrance? And then with the malachim, it says, Vayetze aleim loid ha-pescha. And then they come to break down the door. And the people by the Pesach, they struck in with blindness. What's this focus on the entrance of the tent? Next question. You ready? I'm not telling you all the questions, but you're welcome to try to answer all of them. Next question. The Malachim 8. Rashi says, from here we learn that when in Rome, do as the Romans. Don't change from the minhag of where you are. So I would ask, what's the raya? Maybe if you're in Rome, you could do like the Italians. But you know why the angels were eating? Not because you shouldn't be Meshana from minhag HaMakam, because they didn't want Avram to know they're angels. I mean, Avram didn't know they're angels. He thought they were people. So he thought they're people, they're going to give away their cover if they don't eat. So they had to eat. Next question. This is a mind-boggling question. Parak Yud Ches Pasuk Yigama. Lama zeh tzachaka Sarah. What in the world is the word zeh doing in that pasuk? It should say Lama tzachaka Sarah. What does zeh even mean in that pasuk? Totally an extra word. It said Lama tzachaka Sarah. Next question. Abraham said, I will be afar va'efer. I should have been dust from the kings, ashes through Nimrod. It's out of order. First, va'anoichi efer va'afar. First he would have been ashes through Nimrod, and then dust through the kings. It's not in order. Next question. Rashi says, if there are 40, he'll say 4 cities. 30, 3 cities. So I have one simple question. If Hashem is saving 4 cities, if there are 40, that means any city that has 10, God is saving that city, right? So then isn't it Pasha that if there are 30, and 10 in 3 of the cities, he'll save those 3. And if there are 20, he'll save those 2. And if there are 10, they'll save that 1. Why does Avram have to keep on asking the same exact question over and over again? We already know that if there are 40, if we know that if there are 40, he'll save 4. Then if there are 30, he'll save 3. I mean, why does he... And Hashem says, yeah. And then the next Hashem agrees. What's this back and forth? It's the same request over and over again. So I would humbly suggest to this one that when Avram Avinu asked to save, that if there are 40, he'll save 4, it doesn't mean that if in each of the 4 cities there are 10, he'll save each city that has 10. It means if there are total of 40 in all 5 cities, he'll save 4 of the cities, even though each city may not have 10 tzaddikim. Let's say each city has 8. So Hashem will say 4 cities if all of the 5 cities have 8. And maybe Hashem would save 3 cities if in total the 5 cities have 30, 6 in each. So that's why Avraham Avinu has to keep on asking. Question. So the oldest one gave the father to drink. By the way, where'd they get wine from? The wine just appeared. And by the way, and that to me that's pretty inspiring. Here they said there's nobody in the world. Let's try to impregnate our father. And they had such a desire to get to create a next generation. Hashem made a miracle that wine appeared. It's like b'derach she'adam roitz leilech ma'ilichen oisai. Interesting. The pasuk says that after the oldest one gave Lot to drink, she said, "Unechaya me'avinu zara." We will. After the oldest gave the father to drink, she turns to the younger one and she says, "You know what? I lived with Dad last night. You live with him tonight. We'll give him to drink, and we will bring life from our father, children." What does she mean? We will. She's asking the younger sister to live with the father. It should say, you will. The older one did her thing the night before. Why is she saying to the younger one, we will? We. You're doing it. It should say, utechaya. But part of this question is, the older one lived with night 1. The younger one lived with him night 2. And it says after night 2, the 2 daughters became pregnant. Which implies the older one did not become pregnant until the second night. It should say ad laila shniya. I have another interesting ha'ara. Look at this one. Yutes ches. Rak la'anoshim ha'el. This word kamayas we take out. Rashi says ha'el means ha'ela. It shouldn't say la'anoshim ha'el. It should say la'anoshim ha'ela. So why doesn't it say Ha'ela? Ha'el sounds like God.
No, I got an answer for that.
Yeah.
Want to hear?
Quick.
Ha'el is a gematria of 36, so they were only the 36 Lamavovniks would qualify.
I mean, this is talking about the Malachim, right? Lloyd says...
They represent the Lamavovniks.
Mm-hmm.
They're equivalent.
We have it a few times in the Parsha. Ha'orim ha'el, these cities. It doesn't say ha'ela. In that context, I want you to think about it as follows. Or in the beginning of Lech Lecha, Avraham Avinu is Vayikra b'shem Hashem. Before the Akedah, Avraham Avinu makes an Eishel b'ver Sheva. He's Vayikra b'shem Hashem ke'el olam. What happened all of a sudden that Avraham Avinu is now adding to his message, Kel? Okay, and this is my strongest question of all. So, Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham Aviv. Vayomer Avi. Vayomer Hineni Beni. Vayomer Hine Ha'esh v'ha'etzim. V'ayei haseh. Vayomer haloikim yireloi haseh bini. God will show us the sheep. Says Rashi. God will show us the sheep. And if He doesn't show us the sheep, then you're going to be on the Akedah. So this is the first time that Abraham is telling Yitzchak, either God will show us the sheep, and if not, it will be you. What? What's Abraham saying? That God will tell us where the sheep is, and if He doesn't tell us where the sheep is, it's going to be you. That's not the story. God told Abraham to bring Makriv Yitzchak. There's no sheep in the story, and there won't be a sheep in the story. At the end of the day, they found an ayil. So what's this sheep that Abraham is telling Yitzchak? Don't worry, God will show us the sheep. What sheep? There's no sheep. Where'd that come from? Did anybody ever wonder that? Why is Abraham making up a story over here with a sheep? Anyway, I was just wondering about that. Okay, that's what I got for you. But if you want to print out the sheet, 26 very simple questions on the Parsha you could look at, and maybe you'll have some good answers. Okay, Rabbi, say, I have a shiur on tefillah. We'll have to do it very quickly. Yeah.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.